What's up, everybody? Reel Rendezvous in the house. That's Brett. I'm Hunter. What up, Brett?
Hello.
Hey, I like your little dance you were doing for the intro track.
Oh, I just got to cut a jig.
Yeah.
For the intro track.
It's an intro track Brett always plays to like get us going for the pod, but it's not the intro track you guys hear. Our intro track's way better.
Yeah, it's a little funkier. Here, just...
Does that come through on it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's got a little groove to it.
It does. It's very nice.
So, we are here today to discuss Star Wars. The one, the only. I guess you can't say one, the only.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like maybe top 3, top 2, like biggest IPs out to ever exist. Would you concur?
I would concur. Yeah.
Definitely top 3.
I think the majority of people know what a Star War is.
A Star War?
Yeah. The singular of Star Wars.
All right, so today is a special episode. We are not reviewing anything in particular. We're going to dabble and talk a little bit about the Kenobi premiere. Obi-Wan Kenobi, rather. I don't know why.
Should have just been Kenobi.
Should have just been Kenobi. That would have been better.
Yeah.
But spoilers ahead on that, just fair warning. Not really a whole lot to spoil.
Yeah, there's only 2 episodes.
And if you know about Star Wars, you know what you're getting with this. But we're going to talk about that a little bit. And then we are going to do our top 10 Star Wars movies and TV shows. How you want to do that? You just want to like bounce back and forth. I'll do 10, you do 10. I'll do 9, you do 9.
Yeah.
I think that's the most sane.
That's what I was thinking.
The sanest way to do it. But before we get into that list, Brett, let's talk about that mid Kenobi.
Mid episode 1.
Obi mid Kenobi.
No,
I like how you like post mid. Like whenever you say something's mid on Twitter, it makes me LOL so hard.
Not Obi mid Kenobi.
Yeah, Obi mid Kenobi.
Yeah,
we're exaggerating.
Yeah, no, it's not quite mid. I'd say it's good, and of course, you know, there's only 2 episodes out now.
Right.
It'll definitely, hopefully, you know, pick up, and even you can see it start to pick up in the second episode.
Yeah.
Most of my problems with it so far are just like some baffling editing choices.
I thought, which probably reflects on your opinion on the editing, I thought some of the execution of how certain scenes were played out was bad. But before we get into that, just generally, how do you feel about like the setting and the characters and everything? You like what's going on?
Yeah, it's giving me Logan vibes.
Yeah,
I think they're going for a Logan thing.
I can dig that.
You know, we've got our you know, old grizzled, not quite in his prime anymore, hero that we all love, and
seen some shit.
Yeah. And he's just trying to get away from the, like, he's even like, just like Logan was he was a taxi driver, you know. Obi-Wan's out here slicing meat for the man.
Yeah, I love the everyman appeal, like the blue collar, mundane job. It reminds me of like me having to go to fucking work every day.
Yeah.
It makes me sick. I can see it in his eyes, like he doesn't want to go to work today. But I do like that. I like the lack of dialogue and like just introducing Obi-Wan's life post Order 66, post the war and the fall of the Jedi and everything. And I think I saw somebody review it and say that they thought Ewan McGregor wasn't very good in these first 2 episodes. And for as much as the first episode had its faults, I thought that like Ewan McGregor was like doing a lot of good acting without actually speaking. And that was my favorite part of the first episode was just him establishing Obi-Wan Ben Kenobi now is depressed, and he's almost like, I don't even know what term I would use to describe it, but he's just like, he's over it. He's over life, basically. But also, we need to talk about Princess Leia.
Yeah.
So we get to see Alderaan before it's disintegrated, and Princess Leia is introduced. It is in the first episode, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So she's introduced in this. Did they say how old she is?
No. They did not. It's 10 years. She does. She says she's 10.
She's 10 years old.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because it's 10 years after Order 66, which is like the day she was born.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Okay, yeah, so 10 years old.
Yeah.
And Princess Leia is like a little brat, for lack of better words. She's a really interesting character. I like that actress.
No, yeah, I like her a lot.
Yeah.
I think she's doing a good job.
And she is introduced kind of as a plot device. She gets kidnapped by some scoundrels and taken to another planet. And then Bail Organa, I should have looked up how to pronounce it.
I think it's Organa. He
comes to Obi-Wan begging him to go save Princess Leia. And that's kind of where our story takes off. I really liked what Alderaan looked like. Mm-hmm. And it makes it that much, like, not heartbreaking, like nobody really cares, but it just makes it that much more like, damn, that really happened in A New Hope when they destroy Alderaan. Because it does just like look like a high class, like beautiful planet, like a lot of cool structure. I hate saying this, but it kind of looks like what they depicted Reach as in Halo the series.
Oh yeah.
We'll not talk about that. But and then in episode 2, you see, what is the other planet that they're on?
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember the name of it.
Daiyu.
Yeah.
Daiyu.
Yep.
So they go to Daiyu. That's where the kidnappers take Leia, and Obi-Wan, chases there to rescue Leia. And the Inquisitors are involved, blah, blah, blah. It all like kind of goes around Reva, or is it Reva?
I think it's Reva.
It's spelled Reva, but I thought for sure I heard them pronounce it as Reva in the show. I don't know. Regardless, she's the main character of the show. I saw a lot of people post on Twitter about that.
It is funny. I don't like her, and not in the like, oh, she's the bad guy and that's why I don't like her. I don't like the way she's written. I think she's like comically evil. And it's like, and it's not like meant to be campy. Like they're playing it completely straight. She's just like stupidly bad and like determined to like get this information about Kenobi.
I think that like, I don't think it's like comical. I think that she is interesting, whereas she gives me like teacher's pet vibes. You can tell that all she wants to do is impress Vader. That's why she wants Kenobi. But like you said, just the way that she's written is kind of choppy.
Yeah.
Like she's really whiny and like I don't particularly like her as a character either. So far anyway.
Yeah.
Because really, with it being 2 episodes long, there's still not a whole lot of, I don't know how to describe it. There's still not a whole lot of space for any of the characters to really be themselves. I don't know. Like nobody really has a whole lot of screen time to like say that I enjoy that character. They have good character development.
Yeah.
But I hope that we get more from Reva, because obviously she's going to be like the, aside from Vader, one of the main protagonists, or antagonists rather. At the end of episode 2, though, whenever we find out, Anakin's alive.
Yeah.
Well, when Obi-Wan finds out Anakin's alive, that was pretty dope.
No, that was a good moment because that's something I hadn't thought about before, that he didn't know.
Right, I didn't realize that either when I was watching it. I was like,
it didn't hit me that he wasn't aware that he had survived the.
How did I not
duel.
know that?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. That was pretty cool. That was one of the coolest parts of the 2 episodes thus far. I think all in all, we're on the same page though.
Yeah.
To be continued.
Yeah.
To be determined.
One smaller thing I really liked is, again, just some of those like lore implications that you don't really think about or notice, and then you see it play out, and it's like, oh, okay, I get it now. Because I had never thought before, how does Princess Leia know who Obi-Wan Kenobi is in A New Hope to ask him for help? And it's like, oh,
this would establish that.
Because they met when she was young, and then he helped her out, and he was a friend of her father.
I think that these 2 episodes so far, the best thing that they've done is expanding lore.
Yeah.
like already established lore.
I do wonder if they're going to have a stupid sci-fi explanation for why he is so very old in A New Hope.
I hope not. I mean, I think that's one of those things that you can just like kind of, just let people like complain about. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to have some kind of goofy, like how in Phantom Menace they want to explain like midichlorians.
Yeah,
that's dumb. Like, who cares? Like, if you're really that worried about it, maybe in like later on in the seasons, throw some touch of gray on Obi-Wan or something. Yeah. But it's not that bad. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. The lore stuff is really, that's why we're all here.
Yeah.
We want to see what Obi-Wan was up to in between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, and it's letting us know, and we'll see how it goes.
I need to see a little bit better writing and some better choreographed action. Which I understand. The first 2 episodes, it needs to establish the setting and the plot, so that's fine. But I need a little bit more meat and potatoes in there.
Last thing I'll say is just because I wanted to ask you if you'd noticed, because I forgot to ask you before we started recording. I was talking about how some of the editing is really weird and it leads to extremely inconsistent scenes. So when they're on top of the... Also, can we just take them up? It hurts my heart how uncivilized Obi-Wan has become in his old age.
Using the blaster.
I'm distraught.
Yeah. I
so uncivilized.
I liked it. I mean, hey, Obi-Wan, for as much as he hates on a blaster, he's pretty good with it.
Oh, he stays strapped.
I mean, he pulled out the glizzy on Grievous. I mean,
he did. So much so that it exploded his insides.
That's one of the most like anticlimactic lightsaber duels in Star Wars history.
Yeah.
So I was so angry when I went to the movies and saw that. Like there was no actual lightsaber battling.
There's in the new Lego Star Wars game, every level has a set of 3 like optional challenges you can do. And one of the challenges for the fight with Grievous is called Super Uncivilized, and you get it for defeating him exclusively with a blaster character.
That's cool.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Is he like a boss character?
Yeah.
Okay. That's really cool.
But anyway, what I was actually going to say. So they're having the shootout on the roof.
All right.
He takes out Blue from Jurassic World.
I like that though. I liked how there was a lot of practical effects in this instead of like relying solely on CGI.
Me and Dad literally like looked at each other and was like, "That's just a dinosaur." That's not.
I can see your dad saying that.
They changed nothing. It's like that is just a velociraptor with hands.
Yeah.
But he takes her out, right? And then Forlom, I don't know if it's actually Forlom, but the same, droid type.
Yeah, I'm rolling with it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
He just, at some point, stops shooting to allow Obi-Wan to muster his force to save Leia from falling to her death.
Yeah.
And then he's up on a roof, sets her down on the ground. Next scene, he comes around the corner from the alley.
Yeah.
Now, Forlom, who has disappeared at this point, comes back. He got down, too, very quickly. And then he gets taken out by Kingo from Eternals. I don't know the actor's name. I can't remember it right now. I love that actor, though.
His name is Kumail Nanjiani or something like that.
I think it's that, yeah. I think that is it.
Yeah, he's a pretty funny guy.
No, yeah. I haven't seen him in a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, that rooftop sequence was hilarious, too, in my opinion, because... Reva, like she sees the blaster shots, off afar.
Yeah, Dad was talking about that
too.
Dude,
it takes her like 30 minutes to get over there, and it's like her movements.
Because she's doing backflips every 3 seconds.
It's like so like I don't know, man. It was kind of cringy.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah, that we didn't need that.
No,
we really didn't.
I will say I did love the side plot of this guy. I know you mentioned like in this post Order 66 world. Dude's putting a lot on the line, pretending to be a Jedi for credits.
Yeah.
But I did think that whole concept was really funny.
It was funny for the sake of having a comic relief character, but at the same time, I just don't think it makes a lot of sense because, like, they are literally killing anybody that is affiliated with the Jedi.
Yeah.
And like you're out here like word on the street is, I'm a Jedi and I'll save you. Like, nah, it's not good for business.
And then, even more baffling, after having cut off a woman's hands.
Yeah.
And
then she just shoves him out.
Yeah, just pushes him. Like, get out of my way.
I don't get that either.
Yeah, it's just inconsistent. The entire show is very weirdly but very weirdly like written, and it's just, I don't know.
We should probably quit talking about it. We're talking ourselves into hating this more than what we actually should.
Yeah, a little bit. I wouldn't say
Let's say some of the things that we like. What do we like?
I like Obi-Wan. I like seeing Ewan McGregor back in action.
Ewan McGregor's a good actor.
I can't wait to see Hayden back. I'm super excited to see what they do with Vader. I really hope they don't mess that up.
Yeah.
Seeing more of the Inquisitors was always fun.
Yeah.
I didn't watch Clone Wars.
I thought when the Inquisitors were first introduced, they were very imposing. Mm-hmm. Rupert Friend, as the Grand Inquisitor, whenever he first goes in that cantina, was pretty badass.
Yeah.
And I know we were just complaining about like the way Reva acts, but if they'd have stayed consistent, like you were saying, with how like when that lady spoke up against her and she just lobbed her hand off, like if they would have stayed consistent with her just being that angry of a person, I would have been cool with it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I like the Inquisitors. I know so many people are so sick of Tatooine, but there's something about it that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They do really like Tatooine. I really, really hope. I don't know if it's going to happen. There's obviously, rumors, but, people say anything.
And we both really like the young actress playing Princess Leia. She's great.
I think young Leia is my favorite character because you can 100%, it's believable that this little girl would grow up to be the Princess Leia we know from the original trilogy.
Carrie Fisher in the original trilogy is so like snarky, and she embodies that. Yeah.
So they did a really good job with her character. But I really, really hope and pray. I really, really want Cameron Montague. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his last name. I really, really want him to show up and cameo as live action Cal Kestis. I can totally see that happening. I want to see him.
Especially, don't you think it's a little ironic? That's like a Palpatine meme. Ironic. Yeah. But don't you think it's a little ironic that the Jedi Survivor trailer drops the day after the Obi-Wan Kenobi series comes out?
Also, they both take place in the exact same time period. It's exactly 10 years
really
after Order 66.
I really think they're setting up for them to line up.
If he doesn't show up in Kenobi at any point for any reason, it'll be weird that they put this many parallels between the two.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I think that would be really, really cool. And as long as they execute it as well as they executed some other surprises in like Mandalorian, whenever Luke showed up and, shit like that.
Yeah.
I think they could really hit a home run as long as they execute it well. Yeah.
Not to mention, they already set it up a little bit, teasing it, by putting a BD droid in Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah. Speaking of droids, do you like Lola? The little...
Yeah, I think she's cool. Little ladybug droid. Yeah, they're going to fix her.
Have to. You know why they have to? Because as soon as I got done watching that, the next day, yesterday on Twitter, I saw... it wasn't on Twitter, it was on Instagram. I saw that, there's already, toys.
Oh.
Hasbro, not Hasbro, but somebody already has, a toy for the Lola droid.
That's awesome.
So, cash grab. But... man, we are long-winded about Kenobi.
No, we had a lot to say.
It's 2 episodes. 2 hours.
We had a good bit to chew on.
Yeah. We haven't even really got to discuss it a whole lot. Usually before me and Brett get on here, we spend forever talking about what we're going to come down here and talk about, but we really didn't today. So I'm kind of glad we saved it for the pod.
Yeah, way shorter though. Episode 2 specifically is I think the shortest episode of any Disney Plus show they've done.
I don't think it was even 40 minutes.
No,
it wasn't.
Nope.
Yeah,
it was 2 minutes of intro, 6 minutes of credits, and I think the episode total was a little 35 or something.
Don't you think all of Disney Plus has the longest end credits? All the Disney Plus series have the longest end credits to ever exist.
Well, at the end of the episode, Dad paused it to see how much time was left, he was like 6 minutes of credits. There's got to be something then.
Yeah.
There's no way that would just
wasn't.
be 6 minutes of credits. Like, no, it's just 6 minutes of credits.
Yeah, it's because they show like all the credits for every goddamn country, like language that they have this streaming in. So,
and I'm sure they had to add extra credits for the use of the for everyone that worked on the clips from the prequels that they used.
Yeah. I thought that was kind of a nice touch too.
It is kind of funny though, seeing like, because they weren't reshot or altered. It was just the scenes from the prequels, and so seeing that style of movie and filmmaking juxtaposed with how they're doing Kenobi now is kind of funny.
I liked it. It gave me that. It gave you that nostalgic appetizer, But without further ado, Brett, do you want to get into our top 10 Star Wars forms of media?
Our top 10 Star Wars.
So we're going to start from... We're doing Star Wars movies and TV shows. It's our top 10. We're going to start from 10 and work our way down to 1, obviously. Me and Brett kind of already talked about our rankings earlier. I've already forgotten it, basically, though. So this will be exciting. Brett, with that said, I'll let you go first with your number 10.
All right, I will start with my number 10. My number 10, bottom of the list, but not terrible because it still made the list, is the Clone Wars movie. Because I have not watched... Well, I've watched the first season of the show, but I haven't finished it. So I didn't feel comfortable putting a show I didn't finish on the ranking board. But I did watch the movie that coincided with the series, and that is my number 10.
Ironically enough, in my top 10, I do have Clone Wars, the series, but I've never finished it. Everybody's like just turning off our podcast now, like not true fans. Hey, I'm like halfway through season 4, okay? But
I will probably never finish it.
I was like lumping all of like the Clone Wars stuff together though. Like the 2003 animation and the Disney. I don't even know how to describe what the animation is for it. The CGI animation, the more popular one, and then the movie that you're talking about. So the movie, I have no opinion on it whatsoever because I've never seen it.
You haven't seen it?
No.
Oh wow, no. Well, because when I wanted to start getting into the Clone Wars, I looked up, because I know that it's like not full anthology, but lightly, it jumps around a lot.
Okay.
And so I looked up a viewing order, just because I wanted to see everything in chronological order. And the movie is the first thing, because the movie came out to set up the series.
Okay.
And so what happens in the movie is we see they're sort of fighting with the droids over this city. And that leads into some Grievous shenanigans.
I'm always here for Grievous shenanigans.
Yeah, that rascal. And I like it just because, I love Anakin and Obi-Wan. They're my favorite. They're my two favorite characters.
So this movie came out to introduce the long-running TV series?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe so.
Okay.
I think because this came out first in theaters, and then the show started airing on Cartoon Network a few months later.
So would this have been the introduction of Ahsoka Tano?
Yes. No, she's actually not in it, I don't think, because she's introduced
in the series.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's actually not in the movie, I don't think. I could be remembering it wrong, but I don't think she was there.
Okay.
But yeah, I just love young Anakin and Obi-Wan hanging out, doing adventures. But that's the only thing I like about the Clone Wars, and that's why I will never finish the show, is because I don't care about the politics of Star Wars.
Yeah, I think that's one of the only appealing things about Attack of the Clones is Anakin and Obi-Wan's chemistry. I think that it's not buddy cop-esque, but kind of, a little bit. They bounce back and forth pretty well. There's just not enough of it in Attack of the Clones. There's too much sand in Attack of the Clones. All right, so
I don't like sand.
My number 10, this might be a little bit of a surprise to you, but my number 10 is Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, this is a surprise to me because you guys might not know this, but Hunter is a diehard Phantom Menace apologist.
I mean, I think it really has me hooked with the whole nostalgia because it was the first one that I saw in theaters. And also, I've always thought like Darth Maul was the coolest looking motherfucker in Star Wars history. And they did my man dirty in that by cutting him in half. It's got its flaws. There's some really like boneheaded decision making in the way that movie was made. Like, why did we need Jar Jar Binks? We did not need him.
Except it's kind of funny because, you know,
we did not need Jar Jar Binks to be as aggravating as he was. Let me put it that way. I mean, because you do need the Gungans because they come later in the film.
Half the movie wouldn't happen if Jar Jar didn't exist.
I just think he's like so not funny. I don't know. Maybe you know, like 6-year-old Hunter enjoyed him. I probably did, but you know, the third act of the movie is actually like really enthralling in my opinion. Best lightsaber duel of all time. Don't care what anybody says. Is it overly choreographed? Oh yeah, but it's still badass. Liam Neeson's a little underused. Like the dude's got great acting chops, and he delivers some like more boneheadedness whenever he's like trying to explain midichlorians, which that's not Liam Neeson's fault. You know, that's George Lucas. What else do I like about it? Pod racing.
Oh,
the pod racing is sick.
I can't believe they've never done another one.
I know, right?
Maybe they feel like they can't top it. Maybe they feel they've already peaked.
So that would be so awesome. Like, you know how sometimes theaters like Regal up here in Morgantown does like, they'll like, you know, reshow certain movies. That would be so cool if they reshowed The Phantom Menace and to get to see that pod racing scene. Like, I feel like the energy in the theater would be like similar to in the Batman whenever he like fires up the Batmobile. Yeah. Like just like shaking your seat.
I think even like a short, like a live action, like especially with how much, you know, CG and technology has advanced since then, I think they could make it even cooler than it already was.
Yeah. Yeah, I had this Nintendo 64 game. It was like Star Wars pod racing, and it was a lot of fun.
Now this is pod racing.
Yeah, it's
yippee,
Jake Lloyd. Yeah.
Can you believe? I think I mentioned this to you before, but can you believe he got bullied?
Yeah, I remember you telling me that.
Imagine being Anakin Skywalker and people making fun of you for
They're lucky he didn't force choke him.
For real.
But Phantom Menace, for all its flaws, I still really enjoy it. And like I said, I love Darth Maul. I have a Darth Maul tattoo. I really enjoy like some of the extended stuff. I have a few Darth Maul based comic books. Here we are back at like the Clone Wars though. Me never like not finishing the show because I'm on season 4. I don't think Darth Maul actually gets introduced till season 5. So
with his funky little robot legs,
like the little crab legs.
Yeah,
I don't like that. They reintroduced him with like just 2 legs later, which that's way better. But all right, Brett, back to you. Number 9.
All right, my number 9 is Star Wars: The Phantom Menace.
Ooh, damn! You could have jumped in there at any moment to just carry that out. All right, go ahead and yammer for 5 minutes now. Everybody knows how I feel about it.
Well, I think The Phantom Menace is okay. So
spit it out.
I'm sorry. When The Phantom Menace is good, it's really good. Like you were saying, you know, the fight with Darth Maul, Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon in general. I think one of my favorite, you know, just scenes in Star Wars history might be the dinner scene, talking with Anakin and Shmi over dinner, because that little interaction between Anakin and Qui-Gon about, you know, how powerful the Jedi are, and Anakin's like, nothing can kill a Jedi, and Qui-Gon says, I wish that were true. Like that's just a really good scene. Like, just, you know, everyone's, you know, you can hark on George Lucas's writing and directing because, you know, it deserves to be harked on, but you know, sometimes he just hits it right on the head. But it is still The Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
It's still I'm a prequel apologist. I
think after everybody watched the sequel trilogy, we all became prequel apologists.
Spoiler alert. Did all 3? No, they did not. Oh, neither. Not a full trilogy once made it all onto the list at the same time.
Ooh.
But, you know, I do like the prequels. And so, because I like seeing those characters. I like young Obi-Wan. I don't like old man Obi-Wan.
I do like seeing Obi-Wan as a Padawan.
Yeah,
you know,
it's cool.
Still in training. And that's almost like when he killed Darth Maul, that's when he like became a master.
Yeah. So. And of course, you know, a lot of the stuff you talked about liking is just the same stuff I liked about it. You know, the pod racing is great. I don't hate Jar Jar as much as everyone else does. I think he's objectively bad. He shouldn't have been like that, but it's like, it's funny. Yeah. And I like to laugh. Yeah. So I like to make, and you know, I recently rewatched Phantom Menace with a few of my friends. We all sat down and we watched it together. I remember you telling me. Yeah. And it's just a fun time. You know, when they're not talking about, you know, and of course the reason it's so low is the problem with all the prequel stuff.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem with the prequels.
Like, I don't care about your trade routes. Yeah. I don't care about the Trade Federation and the Senate, and, you know, I hate the Jedi Council. I hate all of them. They're stupid. They make horrible decisions all the time.
I think that's one of those things that, like, George Lucas almost had to establish to create a war. You know, because politics create war. And they manufacture war for money. But it was just like, in a kid's movie, it makes it difficult to really go together. Man, we should have poured that bottle in a glass or something.
I don't know why it's so loud.
It's the crinkliest bottle ever.
But
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so that's my number 9, The Phantom Menace. Hunter, why don't you hit us with your number 9?
Am I on my number 9? I am.
You are.
Oof. Man, I'm looking back at this. Why did I rank this way?
Uh-oh.
Okay.
He's reworking his list as we speak.
No, I'm going to leave it as is. I'm a little bit upset with myself. Not too much, though. Okay, my number 9 is Solo, a Star Wars story.
Oh, that stings.
Yeah. It's, that's what I mean. I don't know why I put it that low. But, so Solo, a Star Wars story, caught a lot of flack when it first came out. And I don't think it deserved it whatsoever. No. Me and you have talked about this.
Not at all.
I think Solo feels so much like Indiana Jones in space.
Yes.
It's a great adventure movie. I think it has some really like high class acting in it. I think Woody Harrelson's character in it's really, really cool. You can see how Han Solo based his personality from the original trilogy, how his personality was in the original trilogy. He learned it from Woody Harrelson's character being like his mentor. I thought all the action sequences were really good in Solo. Everybody like hated on Alden Ehrenreich. I thought he did great.
Dude, he's my favorite part of that movie.
He didn't like particularly look a ton like young Harrison Ford, but he had that swagger. Like he had that quippy, you know, we love those kind of characters. Yeah. And I really don't have that many complaints about it. That's why I'm wondering why I have it at 9. But I made this list like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, put it on Twitter.
Well, sometimes it's hard when you're ranking things that you know you like pretty much all of them.
Well,
because then it doesn't so much become what's the worst. It's just like how much do I like them in comparison to each other?
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up because everything from here on out, I have like no negatives about basically. But Solo, it even has, you know, that scene at the end where my man Darth Maul shows up. I really wish they could elaborate on that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Bring back Ray Park live action. That'd be tight. Paul Bettany's character, he's cool. The bad guy. I don't know what's up with his face, but
just some Star Wars stuff.
And Donald Glover as young Lando.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, he kills it, man.
Oh, it's awesome.
Talk about somebody with like swagger.
Right?
Yeah. I really enjoyed Solo a lot. I hated all the bad reviews it got. They were undeserving.
Yeah. I love Solo. You'll find out when we talk about it a little later.
All right. Go ahead with your number 8 now.
Yes, we are on number 8. My number 8 is Book of Boba Fett. Now I know the one thing I remember from your list is that Book of Boba Fett didn't even make top 10.
No, it didn't.
Book of Boba Fett is not in your top 10.
No, it's not.
But it was just barely there. It was number 11, I think.
Yeah.
On yours. Yeah.
Good memory.
Yeah. But, man, Book of Boba Fett was just disappointing. There's a lot. There's some stuff in there to, hold on to and really, really dig.
I agree with disappointing.
Yeah,
yes.
I love. I feel so bad. I always butcher his name.
Tamora Morrison.
Tamora Morrison.
We'll go with it.
We'll go with that.
I
sorry
doubt he
if I'm
listens.
saying that wrong.
I doubt he listens to the podcast and will get offended.
Tamora, if you're listening, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. But he's great. He's always gonna be great as the clones, and I'm glad that we get to see him as Boba Fett now.
Yes.
I'm glad that they just stuck him in there like, hey, this makes sense.
Yeah.
You're Boba Fett.
Yeah.
So that's great. And he was great in The Mandalorian when he showed up. And, and the premise is great. He went from working to Jabba the Hutt to being the Hutt. He is now the main crime lord. He doesn't do a lot of crime. He doesn't really like crime.
Yeah.
I don't know why he decided to be a crime lord.
Yeah.
But, he's the main crime lord of Tatooine, right?
Whatever they call that district. I can't remember what the term is.
Mos Espa, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's the main crime boss of Mos Espa. He's got this, badass, cool assassin cyborg sidekick.
Yeah.
And then they do nothing for 6 episodes, and then the Mandalorian shows up and the show gets 10 times better.
Yeah. So everything about the setup and the premise is really, really cool. And they just made Boba Fett way too soft. He doesn't want to actually, like you said, he does no crime, which is okay. But I mean, he's a mercenary.
Yeah.
He's really soft. I really hated that. I thought some of the side characters in Book of Boba Fett were terrible.
Yeah, Hunter really doesn't like the mod gang.
Yeah, they're so lame on their little scooters. They suck.
They're little Vespas.
Yeah, it's terrible. And Fennec Shan, she's all right, but
I really like Fennec. I think she's a cool addition. I think this has nothing to do with the show, but the fact that woman is I think old, 80 or older now. She voiced Mulan. She was
80. She's not 80 years old.
Not 80. Sorry.
I think she is 50 plus though, 50 or 60.
No, I think she's almost 70. That's what it is.
No way.
No, wait, because I remember we talked about it. We looked it up.
I know, but I don't think she's pushing 80. Damn, bro.
No, that was hyperbole. I messed that up.
You got the Fountain of Youth.
I messed that up, but
Book of Boba Fett really, really is the epitome of disappointing. And I feel like we use the term inconsistent all the time whenever we're talking about something in a negative manner, but it's also inconsistent because, like you said, whenever it brings Mandalorian in the later episodes, it gets 1,000 times better, but it has nothing to do with what the whole show's named after.
Yeah.
Boba Fett.
58. Sorry, I don't know why I said 80. I just remembered that she was way older than she looks.
You're thinking of the 8. That's what it was in 58.
Yeah.
You thought 85.
I did. Yep. Yeah, I got the numbers switched up.
But yeah, I really loved whenever they brought Cad Bane in.
Yeah, that was awesome. And then
immediately
killed him.
I mean, I've never seen a character get introduced in a show more badass than when Cad Bane showed up. That was so awesome. So that it had its high points for me.
Yeah, but I think the biggest problem with it is that every good thing or cool thing it does or did, it just immediately just screws it up.
I feel like there were only a couple redeeming qualities it had and had way more disappointing factors.
Yeah. But with that said, the things that I did like about it and the reason it made it, onto the list at number 8, not even at the very bottom, is again, I'm a big lore guy. I love me some prequels. I love finding out how things come to be and how they happen.
Right.
And so my favorite part of the show was when Mando came back. Those were the best episodes, hands down.
Yeah.
But also, I loved seeing, how Boba got out and survived the Sarlacc pit. How he, got took in by this gang of Tusken Raiders and was. I think Star Wars needs to make up their mind on whether or not they want us to hate Tuskens or not.
Well, I think that like in the original trilogy, they were just like supposed to be cannon fodder. You know what I mean? They were just supposed to be there and be like bad people. But then everybody, you know, as we get older, we think, man, the Tusken Raiders look really cool. And so if something looks really cool, we want to make it a good guy. Or at least an anti-hero.
Yeah.
So they got the anti-hero treatment.
And maybe it's like a thing. It's like, well, maybe some factions of the Tuskens are like, they're nicer than others. But like, I just think it's funny how inconsistent. Sometimes they're just like raging murder machines. And then sometimes they're like, my son Boba Fett.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so that stuff was really cool. I really liked seeing that. The bar scene, amazing.
It was really badass.
That was, like all the fights that Boba Fett does get himself into are awesome. He just doesn't do it a whole lot.
Well, I think that there's one fight that's not awesome. It's like the first episode, maybe? Whichever one where him and Fennec Shan like walk down the street and then they get jumped. And he just like gets his ass whipped. Even though he's in his like badass armor. Like he just gets stomped. I don't know.
Also, this one's a nitpick. This has nothing to do with like I don't rank the show based on this, but I really don't like his new look. I don't like the clean cut. I don't like the black undersuit. I prefer
it
the
almost
white.
looks like he's wearing a skirt.
Yeah, I don't get the sash thing. I much preferred the white flight suit, the scuffed up armor, the yellow cape. I think that's a way better look for him.
Yeah.
But again, that's not something that affected
the
ranking.
We know Brett has to comment about the suits.
I always got to comment about the wardrobe. It's my thing.
Yeah, I agree with you on that though. I think the black undersuit is not. It's not a good look. It looks like I saw Jeremy Johns a long time ago say it looks like he's wearing his older brother's armor. Like it doesn't look like it quite fits.
Yeah.
All right. So if you're done, I guess I'm done rambling about your pick.
Yeah. Hit us with your number 8.
All right. So my number 8 is The Force Awakens. Okay. So whenever I looked at this earlier, I was like, man, I got Force Awakens ahead of Solo. Why? Which objectively, I think Solo is a better movie. But the reason why I think I have Force Awakens where it is because that was like the first Star Wars film, like since Revenge of the Sith. And when I can remember seeing that first trailer for The Force Awakens, and just like getting goosebumps all over. It was so exciting. And it had like so much mystery about it. Because it introduced with like Finn like looking up, being real sweaty and looking around. He's in his First Order armor, and then you see the Millennium Falcon, and the theme kicks in. It was a really great trailer, and The Force Awakens, although it is basically just like a retread of A New Hope, I still think that it was ahead of the curve of all of the feeding us nostalgia to get us to enjoy something. Like, it was before we got over-induced with all that. And it still introduced some pretty cool characters. Kylo Ren was cool in The Force Awakens. Last Jedi, he became super not cool. But he was cool in The Force Awakens. Finn's a cool character in The Force Awakens. Rey is a cool character. I really like where they were going, where J.J. Abrams was going with that first movie. Now, of course, it all got... What's the word I'm looking for here? Discombobulated with The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
And you won't see The Last Jedi anywhere in my rankings.
Not on mine either.
It is the bottom. It is my least favorite Star Wars movie.
The Force Awakens is the only sequel trilogy movie on my list.
Okay, yeah. It's only one on mine, too. I think Rise of Skywalker is pretty bad, too. But, yeah, The Force Awakens is almost exclusively on my list because it brought back Star Wars. But... Brett, do you have anything to say about Force Awakens?
I will later.
Okay. All right. We'll go ahead with your number.
I think it's kind of funny, not to spoil anything, but our lists right now are kind of like
flip-flop.
Like flipped. Like if you flipped your list upside down, it's like almost mine.
What number are we on now?
We are on 7.
You are on 7. You go.
Yeah. My number 7.
Go with your 7.
My number 7. I don't know. I can't remember if I saw this on your list or not, but my number 7 is Star Wars Visions.
Oh, I never ranked that.
Oh, you didn't?
Damn.
Oh, Yeah, Star Wars Visions is my number 7.
Can I give an honorable mention to Star Wars Visions?
You can give an honorable mention to Star Wars Visions.
Yes.
I am a big anthology guy.
Yeah.
I love me some self-contained, just cool little stories, right? And maybe I was a little biased due to my recent interest in another anthology show. Yeah. So I may be a little biased and just sort of projecting. But I've been really into the Netflix series Love, Death, and Robots recently, which is an anthology series.
We're both big fans.
Yeah, that has different styles of animation for every episode, and every episode, follows a different path. And that's what Star Wars Visions is. It's different styles of anime from different animators and different studios, just telling little bite-sized stories from across the Star Wars universe. And it's just really cool. I really like it. I loved the samurai episode.
Yeah.
I really like the episode with the rabbit people in it. It introduces some goofy but cool stuff like the umbrella lightsaber. That's
really one thing cool. I really love about it is how individualized each episode really is. Yeah. It really doesn't rely much on established lore or anything of that matter. It's almost like little hints of Star Wars in other types of cinema or film or whatever you want to call it. Like you said, that samurai episode, it's almost like an old Kurosawa movie. That's so awesome. You talked about the rabbit people episode. Yeah. That's a good one too.
And I love the twist in the samurai one where it turns out he's actually a Sith, but he wants to start doing good again.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just cool. I don't have a ton specifically to say about it. I just like it. It's a cool little side project that you'll find out very quickly. I like prequels and I like spin-offs.
Didn't it get greenlit for another season?
I don't know.
I thought I saw that somewhere. I could be wrong. But I thought I saw that somewhere. But yeah, I agree. I really enjoyed Visions. You know me, I love some anime. And anthologies are just great because you don't have to get super invested.
Exactly.
You don't have to think like me with Clone Wars, damn, I got 7 seasons still,
And if an episode title and description doesn't sound like interesting to you, you can skip it.
Yeah, you don't have to watch it.
You don't have to watch it because it doesn't affect the next one after that.
All right.
So that was my number 7, Star Wars Visions. I don't hear a lot of people talk about it recently. It sort of came and went. Yeah,
I feel like when it came out, everybody enjoyed it, and it was a week later, everybody forgot it existed. So, I don't know. All right, my number 7 is Rogue One, a Star Wars story. How do you feel about Rogue One there, Brett? Nowhere to be found on your list?
Nowhere to be found.
Oh,
I don't like Rogue One. The 2 times I've watched this film 3 times.
Brett's such a hipster.
2 of the times were attempts to watch it because I fell asleep both times.
Wow.
And then the 3rd time I was like, okay, that was fine.
Well,
obviously the best part of it is one scene.
Here's where I come from with Rogue One. It's a really good movie, and it really has a lot of what's the word I'm going to use to describe it here? It stands on its own 2 feet without relying on any specific main antagonist from another Star Wars thing, and also still weaving into Star Wars lore, important lore that is, with getting the plans for the Death Star. I know a lot of people really, really love Rogue One. I was never head over heels about it, but I do think it's a great movie. I can sit down and watch it and enjoy it throughout. I think it has a lot of really cool cinematography. It is pretty. I love the introduction with what's her name, Jyn Erso. Her dad, I can't remember his name, played by Mads Mikkelsen. I love the introduction of when they come to pick him up to develop the Death Star, and Ben Mendelsohn's character comes rolling in, and it's just this rainy, wet, gross looking field, and they come in with the Death Troopers, all blacked out, just looking badass. And I can't remember what planet it is that they're on later in the movie whenever they're storming that tower to get the plans, and like they have the whole war happening with the AT-AT walkers and stuff. And I think that was just really cool to see that old like Star Wars original trilogy weaponry and technology and shit introduced with like new modern CGI capabilities and stuff. And plus, like you said, it reintroduces Darth Vader, and he just like lets it. I won't say that. He just shows up. He just shows up and balls out, dude. He like it reintroduces you to Darth Vader and reminds you why he is the baddest man. Like, it's really cool. It almost could have used a little more Darth Vader.
That is the best part of the entire movie for me, is just that scene.
Yeah.
I also, I will say though, I do like that, they don't try and force a romance between the two main characters. I don't remember the other guy's name.
Isn't it Andor?
Yeah, he's getting a show, isn't he?
Yeah.
And I love at the end. And again, it's like...
That's what I mean. Everybody loved Rogue One, so the dude gets a show. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I'll watch it, but...
I probably won't. He left no lasting impression on me.
Hey, what about the show that's coming out called The Acolyte? Have you seen that?
I've not.
It's supposed to be like during like the High Republic era of Star Wars.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. Isn't that when Knights of the Old Republic was based?
I think so, yeah. Here's a question that Rogue One always poses in my head that I don't think there's a definitive answer for, but I want to ask you. What color are Darth Vader's lenses in his helmet? What color are they?
Black?
Well, see, that's interesting that you say that, because sometimes they are. But in some other stuff, yeah, I see him right there. He's got the black lenses.
They're black.
But in some other stuff, specifically Rogue One is where it's most noticeable. But in some other stuff, you can tell it too. They're a very dark red.
Yeah.
Which I think is a way cooler look. I subscribe to his lenses being dark red. Yeah. I think that's way cooler. I think it cuts up the helmet a bit more, and just it's neat. But it's just like it's never consistent. They can never decide how they want to. And I'm excited to see.
I think it's one of those things like,
and in Rebels, they're dark red, I think, too.
You've seen Iron Man and like how many MCU movies.
Yeah.
He's going to have different alterations to his suit. Everybody wants to add a little flair to something. And maybe that's kind of like a subtle way that people in Star Wars get to, tweak his design a little bit.
I'm excited to see if when he shows up in Kenobi, what color they're going to be.
I really want him to. I hate saying this, but Hayden Christensen is like tall, lanky kind of guy. I want to see like a tall, lanky looking Darth Vader, like almost like a youthful Darth Vader. Like in the original trilogy, Darth Vader was still tall and like a big dude and imposing. But it's almost like he had like this slow, like heavy, lumbering, like ness to him. I don't know how to describe it. Like whenever you see him like fight in the original trilogy, he's almost like all heavy strikes.
Yeah,
like he looks like he's fighting with a big Buster sword or something.
Yeah.
That would be sweet, like a Buster sword lightsaber. But yeah, so Rogue One, really good movie. Really interesting plot and some really interesting, awesome action sequences. One of the most respected of the new Star Wars movies, and I think generally one of the best directed.
That I can agree with that.
So with that said, tossing it back at you.
Number 6.
Is that what we're on? I keep losing track.
Number 6. My number 6, as I'll admit my mistakes and my defeat. I accidentally got the plots of Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi mixed up in my head. So originally, number 6 was Return of the Jedi because I thought that it was... I got the movies mixed up.
Thought it was Empire.
I've since been corrected in my faults. And so my number 6 is Empire Strikes Back.
Oof.
Which I know hurts your soul.
Empire Strikes Back is number 6.
I'm going to say some blasphemy here.
You got to explain yourself.
I'm going to drop some blasphemy on you.
Okay, I'm ready for it.
I don't super love the original trilogy that much.
Yeah, because you're like 19 years old and you can't stand anything that came out before the year 2000.
That is not true.
Alyssa's the same way.
As we will mention when we get to my top 5. Because there is an original trilogy movie in the top 5. Thank you.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know. I don't think, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, because I love him. He's iconic. He's great. We love seeing him. We love it when he shows up and stuff. He's the OG.
Yeah.
We love seeing him. But if you watch the original trilogy, just like on its own, you go and you watch it. I never found Luke to be that interesting of a character.
Well, I think Luke doesn't. You're kind of right. Like, as a main character, as the main protagonist, we're just given this guy that is inherently good, and he's not given anything to fluctuate with as far as how he develops as a person. And I'll argue with you a little bit on that, but not in Empire. It's in Return of the Jedi, whenever you can almost see him kind of like combating the ideas in his head, like, maybe I shouldn't do this, But I can almost agree with you. Luke isn't that great as a main character. But to argue with you here, to play devil's advocate, that's the best sequel of all time.
And I you know what?
It's the best movie sequel of all time.
And I agree with you.
Think for a minute about what life might have been like back in, when did that come out? 81, 82 or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, this is before YouTube, before, anything like that. And you go to the theaters, and that's when you find out, like, the spoiler, like, no, Luke, Darth Vader is Luke's father. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. And I agree with you. It's a great movie.
Some introductions to some really cool worlds.
It's the best of the original trilogy, which is funny that I say that, because I can recognize that.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, I did put New Hope above it. But Grant, honestly, they could be okay.
Yeah.
Extra spoiler alert, New Hope's number 5.
Okay.
They can honestly, I could switch them around and be fine with it. Empire could be number 5, New Hope could be 6. And I can live with that.
I got you.
So it's kind of a tough toss up. But I just not talking about New Hope just yet, but I just like New Hope more just because, that's just like that's where it all started.
Yeah.
I like the we get to see all the stuff. Whenever you talk about Star Wars and you want to show someone new Star Wars, you're like, this is a New Hope. And because I didn't super grow up like with Star Wars. I didn't grow up with Dad sitting me down and showing me all the Star Wars movies. Growing up, our thing was Marvel. He liked Star Wars and he was like, yeah, Star Wars. And I was like, Darth Vader.
Yeah.
But I never actually sat down and watched them. And New Hope, when I was like, maybe I should watch these movies that I claim to enjoy just because Dad likes them. So, and New Hope was the first one that I sat down and actually watched. And so that's probably why I rank it higher.
Right.
But back to Empire.
It was like your first introduction.
Yeah. But back to Empire. It is the best. It's the best sequel of any Star Wars thing.
It's the best sequel of anything ever.
I don't know if I
of any movie ever.
I don't know if I can say that.
It's the best sequel.
It's very close, but I don't know if I can say that.
It took everything that A New Hope did and just like amplified it.
But we get to see all of these characters that we love at their best. Han's been established; he's doing his thing. Leia's here. Luke. We get to see his development. We get to start off with that awesome Hoth battle with the AT-ATs.
This is when Yoda's introduced, dude.
Yes, I know. And then we go to Dagobah and we meet
you.
Master Yoda for the first time. I know. I knew that this was going to be rough on me.
Go ahead and rip on Empire a little bit, because later in my list, where it rightfully belongs, I'm going to praise it some.
Yeah, I'll let Hunter stick to. Honestly, I don't really have anything much bad to say about it. I just don't. I don't know. I don't. Like I said, I don't find Luke to be that interesting of a character.
Like you said at the start, like, we're literally just splitting hairs with this rankings list. Like, we do not dislike any of these movies.
For sure.
Yeah, we enjoy all these movies.
And, I just happen to prefer the characters of the prequels. I like Anakin and Obi-Wan more than I like Luke and Leia and Han. Mm-hmm. And so, and I love all the movies, and Empire is the best one of the original trilogy, but and it's kind of hard.
Just not for you.
Yeah, they're just not. It's just not for me. It's not my favorite. It's great, but it's not my favorite.
All right.
My favorite Star Wars movie. We'll get to it.
I'd hope. All right, is it my turn now?
Yes, it is. What's your number 6? Go ahead and.
Okay, my number 6 is the Clone Wars series. Like I said earlier, I'm not all the way through it, so hate me, whatever. But what I have watched so far, I really enjoy. I like that they have a lot of episodes that are individual, that don't they do a really good job of having individual plots on each episode with little things sprinkled throughout that go to the overarching theme of the entire series. And from what everybody says, I'm not even to the best fucking seasons yet, because season 5 is when Darth Maul is introduced, and I haven't even watched any of the Mandalore battles or anything with the Darksaber when it gets introduced. So I'm excited for what's ahead. And also, I'm going to include this because it's got the same title. I love 2003's Clone Wars miniseries from Cartoon Network. Mm-hmm. You've heard me rave about it plenty. Made by Gendy Tartakovsky. He also did Dexter's Lab and the Powerpuff Girls. And I'm trying to think of what else. Samurai Jack. I really love that animation style. It's hand-drawn and flows really well. And he does a lot of speaking through action, like very little dialogue. And he really shows you how badass certain characters are. He makes General Grievous look like a monster. And he shows Mace Windu being just so badass. Mm-hmm. And that series is so easy to watch too, because the episodes are like 5 minutes long a piece.
On Disney Plus, they have it compiled into 2 movies.
Yeah, one big hour long thing. Yeah, it's really cool. If anybody's listening has never seen that, take the time and watch it. Really easy to watch. Yeah, and like we were saying earlier before we came down and hit record, going back to the other Clone Wars series, Dave Filoni, I mean, this guy, he almost saved Star Wars, basically. Introducing now a classic character in Ahsoka Tano. She's getting her own freaking show now. Mm-hmm. Also introducing other staples that are being brought into live action, like we were saying, Cad Bane. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a really great show, and it's not just for kids either. I know that it's based for kids, but it's for kids as the prequel movies were for kids, Mm-hmm. But that's pretty much all I have to say about the Clone Wars.
I dig it. All right, we are breaking into the top 5.
What are you gonna do? A big song and dance for the top 5?
I don't know. I just thought I'd announce that we're breaking into the top 5. I already spoiled my number 5, so I'm gonna. I think we should since it's half and half. I think we should split the order now. I think you should start, and then we'll go that way up until number 1.
Do a snake draft.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you want me to do my number 5, then my number 5 is Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. I know you're a big Revenge of the Sith truther. We'll get to that.
We will.
We'll get to that. Well, I mean, I don't, like we said earlier, I don't hate this movie at all. I like this movie a lot. The way you get to see Anakin's spiral into the dark side is actually pretty compelling, and I think they do a really good job of showing how he didn't particularly become power drunk or anything like that. It was all based around his fear of losing Padme, and we can all relate to that.
Yep.
You don't know what kind of extent you would go to save the person you love, the mother of your children, So that's compelling. And there's some really, really good lightsaber duels in this. I honestly like the way they set up Palpatine being introduced to Sidious and the Emperor, And say what you will about the execution of Order 66, but the way the plan came to be is actually pretty impressive, pretty interesting. And then the final climactic battle on Mustafar between Obi-Wan and Anakin, it's an all-timer, man. It's great. Do you want to elaborate any on Revenge of the Sith?
Oh, I'll get to Revenge of the Sith.
Okay, so Brett's going to get to Revenge of the Sith later. He loves it, but I really like it a lot too. I don't really have too many qualms. Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting to the part of the list where it's kind of hard to find negatives for why the things are in the places they're in.
Yeah.
They're just kind of there.
Yeah, I liked it. I just liked 4 things more than this.
Yeah.
All right, so you go.
All right, my number 5, I already spoiled it. It's A New Hope. The original started it all, where we all began, where we're first introduced to Luke and, his aspirations of wanting to be a pilot and, take down the Empire, work with the rebellion. We meet Ben Kenobi, Obi-Wan. He tells us the story of the Jedi with lightsabers. And, we meet Han Solo, rugged scoundrel, and his co-pilot, best friend, Chewie, the Millennium Falcon. It's a classic.
It's all the classics, man.
It's
when
the
you think
original.
of Star Wars, like all the beats are right there.
Yeah. It's really, there's not much you can say about A New Hope that hasn't already been said, It's,
like how many times has A New Hope been like ripped off or memed or just anything?
Mm-hmm. It's just a great movie.
It is such a classic piece of film history.
And at the time it was monumental with the effects and how they did everything.
Yeah. It had such a ahead of its time, which is funny if you would watch the original now.
Yeah.
But like it was so ahead of its time back when it first came out. I think it came out in 1977.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And it establishes some of like the most classic characters in cinema history as well. Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, Han Solo.
Yeah.
I mean, these are character archetypes, specifically Vader and Solo, who've just been like ripped off so many times.
And that opening scene on the, is it the Yavin 4 that they're on? I don't know, the big ship that they're on in the beginning that gets stormed where they're getting Leia. That whole sequence.
Yeah, I believe it is.
Yeah. Yes. Where you just see these troopers and then Darth Vader comes out of the smoke.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a classic. There's not much bad I can say about it.
I could say a little bit bad about it, but not really. Like you said, it's nitpicking.
Yeah.
I have that later in my list, so I'm not going to elaborate too much more on it. I'll save some of my chewery for later. Do you have anything else you want to say about it right now?
No, not really.
All right, so my turn now. Ooh, man, I really wish I'd have flipped these two. I think I'm going to flip them.
We're flipping them?
I'm going to flip them.
All right, what's your number 4 now that they're flipped?
A New Hope. So I'm going to continue saying those things that I said I wasn't going to.
Keep on going.
All right, so yeah, it's the original. Star Wars is like probably the most iconic. Like if you were going to power rank science fiction films, it's the number 1. Like A New Hope has to be. If I was going to say any kind of negative, the action sequences lack when you compare to other Star Wars films. But with that said, the shit came out in 1977, and the only lightsaber battle in the movie is between 2 old dudes. So that's a little bit anticlimactic, but it's still awesome because of how it establishes everything. It establishes so many side characters, and this movie also establishes Lucas's attention to detail. How many like side characters, settings, and places does he have so much expanded lore, or just like Boba Fett himself? I know that he's introduced later in Empire, but I'm just using him as an example. Like how many people were like, this is the coolest looking dude, or like the clone troopers, or the TIE fighters, or just anybody, any side character is just like, he makes everything so interesting. And I don't want to compare it to this franchise, but I will. Harry Potter, I'm not like really into Harry Potter, but I think that the film series, I know it's based on books, but the film series just does so good at establishing a world that is interesting and makes you just want to learn more about it. And I think that Star Wars A New Hope was the first people to ever do that.
They did an epic rap battles of history between Harry Potter and Luke Skywalker.
Really?
Yeah, and it pointed out how similar their backstories are.
Well, I mean,
I'll send it to you later.
It's pretty accurate.
Also, I completely glossed over the fact that Empire introduces Boba Fett.
That's all right.
That's just crazy. I think I'm also gonna flip mine. So I'm just gonna jump in here real quick.
Man, we're getting crazy.
Oh man, Empire is now number 5. New Hope is number 6.
You already talked about New Hope.
No, I know. I'm going back on my word, and I'm flipping those two.
All right. Well, your turn then. Talk about whichever one you just flipped.
No, because we already passed it. Now I get to talk about number 4.
Go to number 4.
Solo. I love Solo so much it's not funny. I think it, like we were talking about earlier, not only do I think it didn't deserve the hate it got, I think it deserves so much more praise than it got after everyone stopped hating it.
Yeah.
I have a very huge bias on seeing how things came to be. I love expansions on lore. I love prequels. And seeing young Han Solo is just cool.
Yeah.
I
agree.
I think that actor did an amazing job, embodying that character and giving us a younger, more reckless version of Han.
Yeah.
I love the dialogue. I love how snarky he is.
Yeah.
But even then, he doesn't like ham it up too much. He still has those moments where he can be serious and tone it down. Mm-hmm. And he feels like, this actual guy. He's got drip. That jacket is tight.
The suit.
We get to see, Donald Glover as Lando. Incredible. Mm-hmm. We get to see the Kessel Run.
Yeah. Yeah. That whole sequence is great. That whole sequence is so good.
It's amazing. The visuals on that are just insane. And I love, his chemistry and, his motivation with Kira. Mm-hmm. And I love that twist. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know, right?
I don't like Paul Bettany as the villain. He's super forgettable. I don't remember a single thing he did.
Really?
I think it's kind of silly that Solo isn't just his name. I think it's dumb that they gave him like a weird reason for calling himself that. It's because he's just Han. And it's like, well, what's your last name? He's like, I'm alone, so I'm Han Solo. Yeah. That's kind of dumb.
Yeah,
his name could have just been Han Solo. There was no reason to make it like a self-given title.
Yeah.
But I don't care because it's a cool movie with characters that I enjoyed watching. I loved seeing him. Doesn't he win the Millennium Falcon in the movie?
Yes.
Yeah, we get to see him because up until that point we didn't know much about their history. Mm-hmm. All we see in Empire, he's like, oh, this is my buddy Lando, and Lando's
we just knew they were old friends.
Yeah, and Lando's like, my ship. It's like, well, what happened there? And then we see it, and they play it so well. Mm-hmm. And yeah, you can look into it. You can grab things to like nitpick. It's not a perfect movie, but it's a fun movie.
Yeah,
and I really, really enjoy it.
That's
and
a perfect way to describe it. It is fun.
I will defend Solo until the day I am no longer on this earth.
I already spoke everything I really needed to say about Solo, but I concur with you. And I just want to say one more time, I really love young Han Solo and Woody Harrelson's characters' interactions and relationship, and how you see how he built who he was off of Woody Harrelson's character. Yeah. Even up to when he kills him in the shootout.
And that was awesome. I love that whole
Scene.
sequence.
Such a cool scene.
I need to watch Solo again.
Yeah, I know, right?
The only thing I will say, just from a visual standpoint, is that the color grading is god awful. This movie is so dark, it's like not funny. There's no reason that the scene should be that like dim all the time.
I feel like it always had like a incandescent like lighting to it.
Yeah, and the tone of the movie completely doesn't fit how dark every scene is.
Yeah, it's a very like bright and enjoyable. I'll tell you what, I remember when it was coming out, they said that a lot of the setting and scenery and vibe they wanted for the movie they based on Remington paintings, which I don't know if you know what Remington paintings are. I can't remember the dude's actual full name, but he did a lot of like American Midwest and Western paintings. They were like a lot of like blues and yellows, supposed to be a lot brighter than what the film actually ended up being. Are you looking it up now?
No, sorry.
Okay. All right, well, with that said, I don't even know what number I'm on now because we both flipped.
We're on number 3.
Okay, my number 3 is A New Hope. We've already talked so much about A New Hope. Yeah, I'm not talking anymore about A New Hope.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about A New Hope anymore.
We love it.
It's a good movie.
Go to your number 2.
Number 3.
Your number 3.
Is The Force
because we
Awakens.
flipped again. Man, you messed everything up.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
My number 3 is The Force Awakens. I love The Force Awakens, and it might be nostalgia. The Force Awakens is the first Star Wars movie I was able to see in theaters after having become a full-on fortified fan of the series. Then they dropped the trailer, and I went and I saw it, and I loved it. I love Rey as a character. I love everything that this movie sets up. I love everything that J.J. Abrams wanted to do, and it makes me sad to go back and watch it, to see all of his ideas never come to fruition.
Yeah. So many things that could have been really good unraveled. Yeah,
Finn's character was butchered after how great he was set up in The Force Awakens, and his dynamic with Poe. Poe's a great character.
Snoke.
Yeah.
Snoke was a cool bad guy that was ruined.
Yeah, Kylo was a cool bad guy.
Kylo was an awesome bad guy who was ruined.
And I wanted a redemption arc, just not the way that we got it. It was stupid.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about those. We're talking about The Force Awakens. And on its own, The Force Awakens is a really good movie. And yeah, I know, you touched on it earlier. It's just A New Hope again, basically.
Yeah.
Even down to Kylo Ren basically just being Darth Vader too. Yeah. But I don't care because it's great. The visuals are great. The fact that we were able to see Star Wars with this, with better CGI for the ships and the locations. It's great. I love Rey. I love what Rey could have been, and I love what she is in this movie. The idea that this, nobody could, just from the goodness of their heart,
That's
come
so
out
cute,
and
Brett.
be a hero.
It's so cute. Pinch your cheeks.
Do good for the world. Become a Jedi. And I really think the sequel trilogy could have been the best the franchise had ever seen had they just, stuck to those things that they wanted to do and had it planned out from the beginning.
Yeah. You can tell that between Force Awakens and Last Jedi, there was not a grand scheme.
No.
That it was
and
supposed
they've admitted
to
that.
rely
They've
on.
admitted that they didn't have the whole story written out as a full story that was cut into parts.
Yeah.
They just sort of made the movies as they went, and I think that's the sequel trilogy's biggest downfall. Everyone wants to blame the characters and all that, but it's like, why?
One thing I want to say about The Force Awakens also that I think was really, really badass is the way that they constructed the Star Killer.
Yeah.
It's a massive. It's basically the Death Star.
Yeah.
But it's a planet.
But on a way bigger scale. It's,
you know what it reminds me of? Halo.
Yeah.
It's mechanized, but it's also like a habitat.
Yeah.
And also, I really like the lightsaber battle at the end.
Yes, it's awesome.
I like it so much because you can tell these 3 characters wielding these weapons have no training, really.
Yeah.
It's really raw. I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah.
I also love the way Kylo Ren is introduced.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what the encampment is that they come and raid, but isn't it Poe who tries to snipe him?
Yeah,
and then he turns around and force freezes the blast.
It's insane. The Force Awakens is a fantastic movie, and I really, really like it. It's my second favorite Star Wars movie.
I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it. I haven't seen it
number 3
since it came out. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
what's your number 3?
I'm on my number 2 now, right?
Yes, because you're not okay. Yeah.
You messed this all up. By
I know. I'm so sorry.
Everybody blame him.
I'm sorry, guys. I thought it would be fun.
It's that new Zoomer mentality. Just can't be satisfied with one consistent thing.
Well, we were halfing it. We did it that way for the first 5, and then the next 5 we were flipping.
All right, so my number 2 Star Wars film or TV show is... See, it should be my number 3 because I did flip my number 3 and number 4. I haven't even talked about this yet. Mandalorian. Yeah, because I flipped New Hope and Mando between 3 and 4, and when I did that, I didn't get to talk about Mandalorian. So
see, my flip was post-mortem, so
I'll just save.
Mine didn't mess me up.
I'll just save my discussion of Mandalorian for in a few. My number 2 is Empire Strikes Back. We've already talked about it ad nauseum, but Empire Strikes Back is the best sequel of all time. It introduces classic planets and characters and scenes that live forever in science fiction film history. It has a really, really, really awesome lightsaber battle. It establishes Boba Fett as a character, even though he's literally just like a side character.
Yeah.
Like, not even a side character. He's just like a background character.
He's there.
He just looks cool. That's it. He's just there to look cool and say like 3 lines. I think that Empire Strikes Back is pretty much flawless, to be honest. All of the, like I said, the planets, Hoth, Dagobah, whatever that windy planet, that Cloud City planet is that Lando's on.
Bespin.
Is that what it is? Bespin? Okay. I love all of it. Every single bit of it. There's not a single thing in that movie I don't like. Not one bit. I love everything about it. Okay, are you on your number 1 now?
I'm on my number 2 now.
Your number 2?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead with your number 2.
My number 2, and also my favorite Star Wars movie.
Time out. So disclaimer for like where we got all discombobulated on our rankings. My number 3 is going to be something I discuss later. So I'm just like totally skipping it right now. You do your number 2, I'll do my number 1, and then you do your number 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Continue.
Sorry. I didn't mean to mess this up that bad.
Nah, it's all right. How did we get here?
How did we get here? Magnets, how do they work?
Yeah, man.
But no, my number 2 on our top 10 list is my favorite Star Wars movie of all time, and that is Revenge of the Sith. I think it is, again, not the best, but my favorite.
It's hands down the best of the prequels.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Without question. I just love everything about it.
Mm-hmm.
Anakin Skywalker is my favorite Star Wars character. Obi-Wan Kenobi is my second favorite Star Wars character. And we get to see them in their prime hanging out.
Yeah.
And then we get to see, the tragedy that is Anakin's life and his story and how he's corrupted by the dark side. Like you were saying, from his fear of losing Padme, his anger with the way he's treated by the other Jedi. Mm. And it's just, we see Palpatine's rise to power. Now, granted, all this stuff is sort of sloped throughout all 3 movies, but it comes to a head in this one, and this is where it's the strongest. So, but then you see, Palpatine's rise to power and how he takes down Anakin with him. And, of course, the duel on Mustafar is incredible. It's
really
just
awesome.
And then we see the birth of Darth Vader, which is insane.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just love, it's the most rewatchable one for me.
That's something that, people that grew up in the 80s and watched the original trilogy were always like, man, I wonder how Darth Vader came to be.
Yeah.
And, getting to see that, regardless of how you truly felt about how well the films were made, is still awesome.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, and just... I just love the characters. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest thing for me. I connect with these characters, and I enjoy watching their journey and the story they go through, and it makes you feel something when you see these best friends, these brothers. Obi-Wan brought him up from childhood after losing his master.
Yeah,
and to feel that he failed him and not be able to pull him out of that place.
For as much as the prequels get ripped on, rightfully so, for the writing and the dialogue, I think that there is a few scenes there at the end between Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor, where Ewan McGregor really does project that, what you were just saying, friend that failed really well.
Yeah.
I think you can really sense I failed you and I'm sorry. And it's sad. It really is. We've all been there.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you've ever had a friend. I've had friends in the past that have went down the wrong path as far as being on drugs or bad life decisions like that, and it sucks. I mean, obviously this to a way bigger extent, but
yeah, we didn't have to cut their legs off and burn them up in lava, but
Yeah, it's funny though because like those good scenes are also like followed right up with like I have the high ground. Like, what does that matter? and like,
don't try it.
And like,
and it is so quotable.
Not the younglings.
There's too many of them, Master Skywalker. What are we gonna do?
Yeah, it's
But no, I just love. I can't talk today. I just love Revenge of the Sith.
I feel like we're both like doing really like a poor job at rambling and yammering.
I just get excited and then I lose track of what I'm trying to say.
We're both talking about something we love.
Yeah, but no, I just it's my favorite Star Wars movie. In the same way that The Amazing Spider-Man is my favorite Spider-Man movie. You know, it may not be the greatest, and a lot of people don't like it.
Yeah.
But I see it for what it has, and it has the most stuff that I enjoy.
The best never has to be your favorite.
No.
All right. So, my number one Star Wars movie and TV show, anything, is Return of the Jedi, Episode 6. I think it wraps up the original trilogy with a beautiful bow. I think it has more awesome world inclusion, like with Endor. More awesome character development. You get to see Luke's epic green lightsaber for the first time. And then the way everything concludes at the end with Anakin's... how did you describe it earlier? His redemption it's amazing. I love it. I love everything about Return of the Jedi. It's got a really cool introduction sequence too. Whenever they go to Jabba the Hutt's palace, and that whole sequence at the Sarlacc pit is really fun. I just love Return of the Jedi. I don't have much else to say about it other than it's the best. I could turn it on and watch it right now.
Return of the Jedi didn't make my list. Not because it's bad. It's just, as I've stated, I'm not a huge fan of the original trilogy, and I really, really don't like Endor.
See, I disagree. I think Endor is really cool because like it introduces the recon scouts like for the clones, which is just such a cool helmet.
Yeah.
And then like the speed bikes, dude. That's tight. And then they have the ATST walkers, the little two legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really think it. I think Endor is really cool.
I think I have PTSD from Lego Star Wars because all the Return of the Jedi levels suck.
Oh, really?
They're really long and boring. So maybe it's not fair. Maybe it's not the movie's fault. But
I really like how we also get to see Luke and Anakin have some discussions about, wow, you are my dad.
Yeah.
And no, I can't believe you're doing this, blah, 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 blah. The final duel between Vader and Luke is really cool. You can kind of see like snippets of Luke not embracing the dark side, but being, like I said earlier, kind of questioning, am I doing the right thing here? So I really love Return of the Jedi so much. It's the best.
I respect it.
All right. Now,
all right,
your
here
number
we go.
one.
The number one, my number one Star Wars anything is The Mandalorian.
And that was my number 3 in case you all didn't realize, which I'm sure you did. But anyways, go ahead.
I mean, I have stuff to say, but what is there to say that hasn't been said about how fantastic The Mandalorian is?
Yeah.
Everything about it is just so good.
Yeah.
Din Djarin is an amazing protagonist. He's my favorite Star Wars character ever in anything. We get to see more lore behind the Mandalorians. We see this faction of Mandalorians that still subscribe to that, the religion aspect of being a Mandalorian, which we don't see much of in Star Wars. They've all sort of broken off just to become bounty hunters and that. But him and his inner circle, they stuck with it. They're still, and they're considered nut jobs by the rest of the Mandalorians. Yeah. But we get to follow one and see things from his perspective, and we get to see throughout the series how he deals with that and struggles with having to go against that at times to for this newfound purpose he found for himself in Grogu. And taking care of him and making sure he's safe, and that father and son bond.
Mm-hmm.
And the action is great. The opening scene of season 1, episode 1 of Mandalorian tells you everything you need to know about how good this show is going to be and how great of a character Din Djarin is.
I think that is like such an epitome of what I love in little on dialogue, lets the action speak for itself. I think like the first 3 episodes of Mandalorian, in my opinion, do that so well, and that's what hooked me.
Mm-hmm.
Though I really, really, really love that whole Mudhorn sequence.
Yeah.
And then another thing, talking about the action sequences. Sorry to pick up on you here.
No, you're good.
But the action sequences are executed so well, and they almost have this like John Wick appeal to them, where Mandalorian's not perfect. Like Din Djarin still takes hits.
Yeah.
He still gets his ass whooped throughout. But it's something we can relate to. It's a character we can relate to. And plus, like you said, you get to see him change as a character as he develops the relationship with Grogu, that father-son relationship. It is a great show. Everything looks great.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Jon Favreau, man, just knocks it out of the park with his direction and the production of it all. And we haven't talked much about soundtracks, through about anything. But, the Mandalorian's theme is just great.
How did we not talk about soundtracks?
Yeah, right. When talking about Star Wars.
Oh man, I just want to throw out there real quick, since I'm a bonehead and didn't say anything about soundtracks. Duel of the Fates, played at my funeral.
And I know that the gruff loner father figure finds surrogate child to take care of. We've seen it done a billion times. Last of Us, most Batman stories.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's a trope that works and that I love. I just love to see a big, gruff, no-nonsense badass, find something to care about.
That's like a good revenge movie. Like,
yeah.
We're going to watch them. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. And, season 1 definitely is the better of the 2 seasons we have right now. But that's not to say season 2 is bad. Season 2...
I think they're both great.
I know they're both great, but I do think I prefer season 1 just a little bit. But even then, and then of course we get all those cameos and all the side characters are great. Like, I don't actually remember his name right. Yes, I do. Grief Karga. He gives him his bounties.
Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The mechanic lady, she's great.
Yeah.
And all the world building, like you said, we get to see all these different planets. That episode where, he for a moment considers, giving up his religion, giving up his life to just raise this kid with this woman on a farm and be happy. But he knows he can't do it because he has a purpose. He's got a mission. That episode hits me every time I watch it. Just these characters and the writing is just so incredible throughout the entire series. So much so that when, even when he shows up in shows that aren't he's the best part of those shows.
The Mandalorian is the most consistent thing Disney has ever put out.
100%.
Like, there's not like a bad episode.
Nope.
I really don't have any complaints about it.
Yeah, no, I have nothing bad to say about The Mandalorian whatsoever.
Yeah, it executes on all cylinders. It's a great show. It's probably one of my favorite shows of all time.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge show guy. I prefer movies to TV, but like...
I'm the same, yeah.
Yeah, but no, dude, Mandalorian knocks it out of the park in every aspect.
Yeah, Mandalorian, can't wait for that season 3.
Oh, dude.
What is it, February of 2023?
I think so.
Is that when it was announced?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
And we get Ahsoka. They brought Ahsoka into live action.
Is he going to be in Ahsoka, you think?
I hope so.
I'm sure he will be. Though, like,
any chance I get to see that man, I'll take it.
Yeah, Pedro Pascal kills it, man.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, everything about the show is great. Well, anything else?
I got nothing left. We've done it.
Damn. We really put all of our feelings out there on the table about everything we could in Star Wars.
We did. This, I believe,
it's gonna be our longest episode.
Actually, not really. It's about the same. It's about on par with
no shit.
Most of what else we've done.
It was way longer.
It felt way longer.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. We will find some other topic to do a top 10 of at some point.
This is we didn't mention. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
I was just gonna say we didn't mention it in the opening, but this is a bit of a celebration-esque special episode.
Yeah.
Due to the fact that Punisher, our last review, was actually our 10th full episode of the show.
Yeah.
Can you believe that we've been doing this for like 3 months now?
No, I really can't.
It's been 3 months.
I figured we'd have gave up at some point already.
It's been 3 months. We've been going strong.
Yeah, we need to continue. Keep our head down. Carry a big stick. Yeah, so we'll find something else to do a top 10 on.
Oh yeah, I liked the not having like one specific thing to talk about and just sort of, going down through.
I think Star Wars was probably the best one to do to start off with anyway. So yeah, but with that said, I mean, I guess we'll find out what we end up doing next time, huh?
Yeah. We'll be thinking on it.
Are we going to go every 10 episodes to do a top 10?
That'd be kind of fun.
If any of our 5 listeners are interested, let us know, and maybe we'll do something else sooner than that. But that's all I got, bro.
That's all I got for him.
All right, well.
All right.
Wrap us up.
All right, I'll wrap us up. That was sick.
Go ahead.
Dude just used the Force. He used his Jedi reflexes to catch a can before catastrophe. Catastrophe.
It's empty.
Oh, okay. Never mind. It wasn't that cool then. But now here, I'll throw out our socials real quick. If you want to follow us on Instagram, that's going to be Reel_Rendezvous_pod at Instagram. We post cool pictures sometimes, and we let you know when episodes are coming out. If you want to follow us on Twitter, that's Reel Rendezvous, all one word, at Twitter, where we post cool pictures sometimes and tell you when episodes are coming out. And if you would like to listen to the episodes a different way, we post them all on YouTube with cool thumbnails and stuff. And that's The Reel Rendezvous at youtube.com.
All right, Brett. Till next time.
Till next time. My voice is real grumbly today. My throat's been dry. The water's not helping. Okay, that's the end of it. Bye.